Hello and welcome. I have a fun new technique to show you today, and we are going to make and decorate our own Easter eggs. And right now Creative Memories doesn't have the shape of an egg, so first we have to create our own custom shape. So what I did is I went to the internet and I found the picture of this egg right here, and I will show you how I found it. I go over to my internet connection, and under Google I just Googled egg shape. And then I chose images right up here at the top. Actually, it's right on the front page, so we'll just take it right from here. Now, to get the very best picture, I always say see full-size image right here. Then I use my mouse and I right-click and I say copy. And then I go back over to my StoryBook program. We'll get ourselves a nice fresh blank page. We'll right click again and say paste. And then just to make it a little easier for everyone to see, I'll make this a little bit larger. And then here's the fun part. We're going to make our own shape that we can save in our digital content to use over and over again. So to create our own shape, we're going to insert a shape with a custom shape using curved lines. So I will choose this second from the bottom here, and then the color doesn't really matter right now, so we'll just start clicking away. I just click in one spot and I go around the edge of the egg. Now we can go back and edit this later if it's not exactly perfect, but I try to do it the best I can the first time, so I don't have a lot of editing to do. And just so you know, you can do this with any kind of shape. It doesn't have to be just this. Any shape you want to create, a tree, a half circle, things like that, because shapes can be used in all sorts of different ways besides just making simple little things like this. Now I want to edit this a little bit right here, so I'm going to choose Edit Points, and then that changes my cursor so that when I hover over these little dots, they turn blue, and that allows me to move them around just a little bit so I can get my shape exactly right. And this is how I created the text on a path also in my CDs. So that looks pretty good right there. So now what you do, instead of choosing create, you say save this shape as content. And I think I will make it black just to, well, actually we'll leave it pink because I made some that are black already. So we'll save this shape as content right here. And then the name of the shape is, we'll call this the pink egg. And again, it doesn't matter about color. And it's going to go into a package that's called Lori Callison's Creative Items. And I'll choose Save and Create here. Now when I go over here to my content and I choose Shapes, and then I go to the package that I created called Lori Callison's Created Items, here is my egg. Oh, and see, it came in black, so there's a good example for you. No matter what color you make it, it's going to be black when it becomes a shape. So you can see that I've done this a couple of times before, and I also created a shape that's a half circle. Now I'm going to go back over to the pages, and I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do with this egg shape. You can make your own Easter eggs, and these are really fun and easy to do. And what I did, for example, I'll show you how I made this one. Once you have shapes, you can go ahead and click on the little gray down arrow that's on the side of the shape and say either create this shape or cut this shape out of a piece of paper. Now before we go on, I do want to show you the edit this shape, just in case you don't like exactly how it looks. Once you get to this point, you can go ahead and click on it and then resize if something looks a little off, and fix it so it's exactly perfect. You can even right click and get all kinds of grids and things to get it exactly straight. So just so you know, all these wonderful things are built into StoryBook Creator Plus. I'm going to cancel out of here because I'm happy with my egg shape. So now what I can do with it is either I can create it and use a color and I'll tell it to do its original aspect ratio and choose create. That's one way, and you can tell this one isn't exactly as nice as my other shapes that I made previous to this, so we'll go ahead and delete that one, and I'll use one of my better ones. Now another thing that I love about, once you have a shape, you can cut this shape out of a piece of paper. So if I choose that selection and then I choose paper with decoration in it, such as this autumn paper right here, I'm going to choose this. Then I can take my shape and move it around anywhere on the page that I want that shape cut. So if I was to choose here, I would get a bit of the ribbon and some of the colors. But I'm going to go ahead and choose this area right here that's very decorative and say OK. And that is how I got to this little guy right here. Now the next thing that I did was to make each of them look a little bit like they're popping off the popping off the page, is to give them a filter called the 3D edge. So I'll go ahead and apply it to this egg here so you can see the difference. I'll shrink this down a little bit here. Okay, so what we do is we have the egg highlighted, we go up to Format, Filters, and then we choose the 3D edge right here. Now I already have some settings that were set and they look pretty good, so I'm just going to go ahead and say apply, but you can change these sliders and the directions of the 3D effect, so that if you want it to be 3D over on the other side, and you can see it changing right here in this little preview box. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it where it was and say apply, and you can see how it just kind of pops it off the page, so it gives it that sphere looking effect. Then I just added some text from one of the digital kits that Creative Memory sells, and that's how I did that egg. And same with this one, I just cut it out of a piece of paper. These, I did the same thing, or if you want to create the shape and then you don't like, say you don't like this egg because you think it looks too light, you could go over to your content and choose a different piece of paper. And we'll just find one here really quick. I think that was in the baby boy stuff. So let's say we want a bright blue one here. We can say fill the selected shape with this. Oh, and it comes in with a very cute little border because, and I want to point this out, when you say fill selected shape, it fills the paper from the top left hand corner of the paper. So you can see right here it filled it from this edge. So if we wanted it to be more plain or to go back to what it was, we could choose this paper and say fill the selected shape. Now see what the difference is there, and choosing the paper where you want to cut it is you would create it as a shape first. So you would go back over to your shapes, and I'll go to my shapes again, and this is what I'm talking about. You would say cut this shape out of a piece of paper. And for this example, I'll show you how I made the one with the little T the teacups. This is a piece of paper that I made for the project center, and I just simply moved the egg to where I wanted it to be, and you can also resize and do all kinds of things to it, but I want to keep it at its original aspect ratio, and say OK. And that's how I got this egg. And then I again applied the 3D filter to make it look like it's popping off the page. So you can see I just chose different pieces of paper and little doodads here and there from all sorts of different kits and dressed these up. So you can make them look however you would like. You can also put a bunch of eggs in a row and make cute little borders like this. And I just made the first 3, and then I copied and pasted so I didn't have to make each one individually. So there's a little trick for you. And then you can also use the really fun new shape cutters that Creative Memories just came out with. So what I did was I created this egg, and then I cut it with the shape cutter, and I'll show you on the next page here when we move over how I did that. So here's a few that I used the custom shape cutter on. So first we need to apply ourselves an egg to the page. So we'll say create this shape and use original aspect ratio. And then we have to make sure that our egg is highlighted so that that's what gets cut. Then we go to the Cut and Fill tab right here and choose the straight cutter and then a shaped edge. And you can see that depending on how wide or how narrow you have this, it's going to cut different size shapes. So I think for this example, I'll use this shape, which we did on our last egg, and you can see that would be huge. So I'm just going to make a little tiny cut like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say cut around the shaded area. And what that does is it gives me 2 pieces of egg then. And I just simply scoop one down and one up. And that's how I created the effect of, oops, thank goodness for undo. That's how I created the effect of this egg. So have fun with this. Just go crazy. You can cut and paste and fill them with all sorts of different papers and add embellishments and dress them up and have a really, really great Easter. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Have fun with this. Bye-bye.